Welcome back to A Quick Chat in the Cadillac. My name is SG, and I like to explore the simplicity of complexity. So if you don't know, this is my show. And today I'm going to break something down for you real quick. Today I'm breaking down the bait and switch. Alright, now if you know me personally, which most of you probably don't, and even some of the people who know me personally don't know this, but I work in a sales oriented field, and we have something called the bait and switch. Essentially what that is pretty much kind of lying to someone to get them into an energy or a place or a space where you can then since you have their attention, you can really drop the truth of what you're trying to do. In the sales world, that's a big no-no. It's manipulative, it's also misleading, and it usually doesn't lead to good things anyway. So if you're doing the bait and switch, you're a rookie. However, the crazy part about the bait and switch is, God or, the source, universe, whatever you believe in, except science. Believing in science is dumb. But whatever you believe in does the bait and switch. And it's a very effective and clever tactic to protect people of a high honor. See, because when you are of a high honor, when you have a huge amount of responsibility to fulfill your purpose and you embrace that and you choose it and therefore are chosen. When you choose to embrace your purpose and therefore are chosen, there will be those around you. In fact, most of the people that you are around until you choose to embrace that purpose and even for a while afterwards, do not do so. And that ignites jealousy. A little bit of jealousy is human. But high levels of jealousy and envy that compound over time is lethal. So what is done in favor of your protection is called a bait and switch. Essentially, you will be hidden. Your purpose, your greatness, your aura, if you choose to say that, will be hidden. Because the people around you before you made that decision were not mentally prepared to see and accept that greatness and understand that it's inspiration instead of an attack on their capability. And so you're hidden. All right, it's like the tale of the prince and the pauper. I think that's the fucking story where people was just like, oh, look, it's a poor prince, or it's the prince and the poor guy, and then the poor guy is really the prince and has all the money, and the prince is just a fucking fake. I think that's the story. If it's not, I don't know. Princess and the Frog. There. That's the story, right? That is the bait and switch. Beauty and the Beast. That is the bait and switch. But people will treat you like that because that's what they can see, and you're cloaked. All right, you're cloaked. Will you choose to embrace your purpose and therefore are chosen, you receive a cloak to protect you so that those who cannot see will not see, and therefore they shall treat you as if they are blind and you are nothing. Ooh, how you do it? He's speaking. But for real. And it's so clever. It's so clever because it will reveal the actual truth of the connections that you have in your life. It will reveal the actual truth to not only you, but after you hit that turning point, to them as well. And maybe after that point, since they're no longer a part of your journey, they're no longer a part of your purpose, they will be inspired to pursue their own journey and purpose. Maybe they'll sit in resentment and hate, but to those people who do that kind of shit, have fun. I say that sarcastically, of course, because you're not about to have no fun, bitch. But seriously, the bait and switch that happens on the way is insane. Just to think about it, right? So you don't have to, but it helps to console you if you understand that, right? The reason that you're trying to do something different, and it's so hard and you're getting so much pushback, is because people can't see. And the reason they can't see is because they're not meant to be a part of it. Whew. It could be heartbreaking, it could be sad, but it's a lot more heartbreaking and sad, the 27 Club. You think about all those celebrities and people and influencers who were these huge accomplishers of stuff. You can't bring everybody from the hood with you. We say that in the hood, oh, once I get on, I'm bringing everybody with me. But guess what happened to the people who brought everybody with them? I don't want to say it, but I think you know what I'm saying. Because everybody can't go with you. All right? They have to make a choice to go where they need to go. But they won't do that. Out of fear, I don't know. Out of insecurity? I don't know. I'm not the one who made that decision for them. How could I possibly tell you? It's probably one of those two. How could I possibly tell you what it is? But what I can tell you is this. You're a whole lot better off without them. And that's why the bait and switch happens in the first place. And if you try to go back and revisit that, you are now accepting whatever comes from that, which is typically consequences that don't shake out well in your favor. So live your life, do what you want to do, but recognize the reason you are hidden is because those who are supposed to see you will see you. But they can't, the people who aren't or won't or weren't meant to see you, they're blind. And you can't be blind to that either. Otherwise, it's the blind leading the blind. And where the hell will we all go? Nowhere. Case in point, 27 Club. And it's not sustainable. When you have people who choose to embrace their purpose in any aspect, whether it's in some sort of industry, whether it's in some sort of connection, some social circle, some sort of group, some sort of work environment, they are there to create change. And the fact that some people can have such a tremendous amount of change in such a short span of life only begs one question. What could they have accomplished had they still been here today? That's why the bait and switch is so clever, so vital, and so necessary, especially now. Because if we're left to our own vices and no one rises up, we all fall. But when people rise up, it's crab is in a barrel, right? We all grabbing on each other to pull each other down. You just got to cut it off. Cut off the right arm so that the rest of the body survives, right? That's what they say about frostbite or infection or some shit like that. I don't know. I'm not a medical doctor. But what I can tell you is there's examples of it all throughout existence. The bait and switch exists for a reason, so you can't be upset about it. Well, you can. You're allowed to be upset about it, but you can't let it hold you back. Because at the end of the day, the bait and switch exists for a purpose to reveal your enemies because they don't see your value. See, because if they can't see your value, how would they have any reason to manipulate you or to use that to their own benefit? They can't even see it. So instead, they'll treat you as if you are not valuable. And that reveals to you exactly who you need to let go of, who you need to release. It's sad. It's so sad, but it's so true. Now, if you want to ask me a question like, SG, can people be forgiven during these times? Absolutely. Should you forgive them after the turning point? Absolutely. Should you allow them back into your life after the turning point or at any point in this journey once it's been revealed to you? That, my friend, is your decision to make and not mine. But it's also your consequences to make or to deal with and not mine either. So if I had to tell you from a logical standpoint, the answer would be of course not. But if I had to tell you from a human standpoint, I would tell you sometimes things just ain't that simple. But it only can help you to know what's going on. Right? So if you're one of those people who has chosen to accept their purpose and you see the lack of recognition around you, despite what you're doing or accomplishing, you see it. And it puzzles you. Now you know why. It's the bait and the switch. You had to be cloaked so that you could be protected. Because they can't destroy what they don't even realize exists. And then when they do realize it exists, you'll be strong enough to the point where they couldn't destroy it even if they tried. It's genius. Painful, but genius. So next time you want to sit and question why your journey looks the way it does, when you know you've been putting in all the work, you know you've been going through the trials and tribulations, and it seems that it's to no avail. Sometimes you ain't seen because the world ain't ready to see you, and by the time they're ready to see you, you won't care about being seen because you don't need it. You already did all the work, right? All right, so bait and switch for the win. Peace.